So what is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another zombies video. As always, I hope you are all having an amazing day. It's awesome today in the UK. I can't believe it. The weather is perfect. You know what? I'm inside doing videos, so that really doesn't matter. Anyway, today for you, I've got an awesome video that I have had a ton of requests to make. Now, I recently did a top 5 on Kino Toten. You guys seem to love that video, and in there, I asked you if you wanted me to cover Samantha's room. Something that really hasn't been inspected on too much, especially since we've progressed throughout the zombie storyline and the older Easter eggs become more relevant. And now Samantha's room, as we revisit it today, will, or in fact some of the Easter eggs hidden within there might actually, or hopefully, make some more sense to you by me breaking it down. So anyway, if you do enjoy the video, a lot of time has been put into this, so a like rating would be much appreciated. If not, you guys are awesome anyway. Thank you, and let's get straight into it. So first off, if you haven't already checked out my top 5 Kino and you want to, I will link it down in the description. But in Kino Toten, you can use the teleporter to teleport from the theatre to the Pack-a-Punch room. And then after about 30 seconds of being in the Pack-a-Punch room, you will randomly get teleported back. Now throughout that teleportation of you being sent back to the main area, to the theatre of Kino, instead of the teleporter teleporting you directly back to the mainframe, it will not malfunction as such, but it will for a few seconds teleport you over to a random location. Now one of these random locations that you will get teleported to is Samantha's bedroom. In fact, there are 2 versions of it. There is the normal version, the good side of her, or there is the evil and bad side of her. Now, to get a proper look at a room, we are going to need to use some mods to get in there to stay in for longer, but what you find inside is pretty awesome. So like I said, there are 2 versions of her room that you see, the good and the evil. The good, I believe, represents Samantha before the events of her getting teleported up to the moon, her touching the MPD, and then becoming the controller of the zombies happened. This good and normal version of her room represents the good and normal version of Samantha, this sweet little innocent girl, the daughter of Maxis, and then this red, darkened, evil version of her room that we see represents the evil and bad version of Samantha. Her after she accessed the MPD pyramid, her after Maxis got killed. This represents her after she became the controller of the zombies and started to destroy and kill every last member, and reminiscent of Group 935. So this represents the evil version of Samantha, and the other version represents the good. Now we actually see Samantha's room in Origins. Straight away you will notice Samantha's room is different, and I'm going to get into that later on. But let's take a look and see what is in Samantha's room. Now on her bed you will notice we have the symbol monkey, or the monkey bomb. We know the monkey bomb was actually created by Dr. Edward Richtofen over in Derice. You can find this information out by going into the V-Bush, but the simple monkey was created by Dr. Edward Richtofen using C4, wires, and what looks to be a stuffed monkey. Over in Derice we know we have the chambers or the cages to keep the monkey in, and if you take a listen to the radios in Call of the Dead, you will hear a monkey screaming in the background. In fact, Richtofen says something like, "Hey, give that back," because the monkey is stealing the spleen of the Mexican test subject Pablo. After Richtofen killed him, this monkey seemed to steal his spleen, and it's believed that Richtofen then killed this monkey, stuffed him, and then became the first of the monkey bombs, where he later on went to make a few more. Now we also know after creating one of these monkey bombs, Richtofen gave this to Samantha as a gift. This was all before the events that we saw happen in Derice, where Samantha wasn't a nuisance to Richtofen. Richtofen didn't hate Samantha. Before all of this, Richtofen, after creating this monkey bomb, gave it to Samantha as a gift. I guess Richtofen was sensible and didn't give her this version that we would use with the C4 strapped to its back. Instead, the one that we see in her room has a basket and crayons strapped to its back instead of C4, and this was the one that Richtofen gave to Samantha as a gift. And the monkey bomb in a way represents Samantha, or makes her feel comfortable. This was the last thing that Samantha got before all of these dramatic events started to happen to her in Derice. This was one of the last few memories of good that Samantha has, this monkey. And there's kind of like a bond between the two. This monkey bomb used to be a real animal. For example, when we are priming the monkey bombs and we're about to throw them in any zombies map, or I believe it may have just been in Derice, but the monkey at random times will just say to us, "Hey, you're not Sam." Sometimes it will say, "I'm coming, Sam." When we throw the monkey out of the map, out of bounds, you will hear Samantha start to laugh. So there is a very close connection between the two. You will also see on the wall there is a Faust poster, which is actually quite strange because the room that we see the Faust poster in is in the good version of her. This is the normal version of Samantha's room. Now Faust is a protagonist of a classic German legend. He was a scholar who was highly successful yet dissatisfied with life, which led him to lead to make a pact with the devil and exchange his soul with unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures. This represents evil, but we are seeing this in Samantha's room. Maybe this is showing that Samantha did have this side to her, or deep within her, maybe there was this kind of evil, sick and twisted side. We know she loved, especially under Reese controlling the zombies, she loved killing members of Group 935. She loved seeing all this blood and gore, so maybe this was a hint as to what was truly inside of Samantha and what she was capable of. Then again, maybe she was just a big fan of the movie itself. We also see Samantha's teddy bear several times, and this teddy, I believe, represents Samantha on Earth. Whenever we see this teddy throughout our zombies games, this is a representation of Samantha. Now, we don't have a full story behind the teddy itself, how Samantha got it, what the background to it is, but we do believe when Samantha got teleported along with Maxis over into Reese, Samantha had this teddy in her hands. She got teleported along with this teddy up to the moon, and that is why when we finally open up the MPD in Moon, we see Samantha come out with this teddy in her hands. Once again, this was the last good thing she had. This was the only thing she has to hold on to. Her father died, her dog Fluffy has turned into this evil hellhound. The teddy is the only thing that Samantha has left. And every time we see the teddy down on Earth, whether it's in Zetsuba no Shima, Kino de Toten, this is a representation of her. I would say it's kind of like her soul being trapped in Earth, trapped inside of this teddy. We see it in the mystery box. Every time it comes out, we hear Samantha's laugh. The teddy will come out and the box will change location, and we see Samantha has been playing with the teddy in her room. And we'll see it later on as I show you the other version of her room. But anyway, if we carry on, the last thing I want to point out is you will notice all this time, ever since Kino, Black Ops 1, I believe, was 2010, may have been 2011. We have seen Samantha playing with these toys that we saw her playing with in Origins. You can see on the floor she has a playset with the characters Richtofen, Nikolai, Takio, and Dempsey. Samantha has been playing with these characters. And we know that's what we see in the Origins ending cutscene, Samantha playing with our original characters. We thought, or maybe a lot of people even forgot, because in Origins even I forgot this, but to me back then that was the first time that we saw Samantha playing with these toys. At the end of the Origins cutscene, that's when we all thought this was a game made up by Samantha in her head. We know now that's not the case, but we've actually seen these toys before. We've seen Samantha has been playing with these toys before, and that was all the way back in Kino. And I think this is something a lot of people have forget. This is not new. This is something we saw all the way back then. Although it may not have meant as much, we can still see it. Now, if we go over to the evil version of her room, you can see it is red. The main focus of this room is everything is trashed. We have this massive teddy standing at the side of the room looking at us with one red eye glowing. Earlier in the video I said this teddy represents Samantha. It represents Samantha on Earth, and in this case it represents Samantha being evil. We saw the teddy before normal, which would represent Samantha being good, and now we see the teddy is evil with red glowing eyes. So this represents Samantha being evil and would represent when, I've said that so many times, but when Samantha became the controller of the zombies. So this room is after Samantha became bad, became the controller, and started to cause all of this destruction. We see her room is trashed, the monkey bomb is lying on its side, and more importantly, our characters in this little playset that Samantha has are gone. They are missing. They don't seem to exist. Almost like Samantha has wiped them out. And we know that was her goal back in Kino. All the way up to Moon was to kill these 4 characters. You can also see the window is smashed through. Now, we've recently heard a lot more about the children. These 2 children we see playing in this room of Samantha's in the Origins cutscene. You can see the room does look noticeably different. Now, I honestly do think this is just because of the redesign. This is all the way in Black Ops 1. We see this cutscene at the end of Black Ops 2, the start of Black Ops 3. Graphics have drastically changed. I mean, we can even see a few slight changes with the new version of the Giant, whereas if we compare it to the original version of the Reese, again there are some changes. This is because I really do think it's on a new console, a new design. So although we see Samantha's room in Origins look a bit different, I honestly don't think that means anything. It could be showing a different time period as to when we see Samantha's room in Kino and as to when we see it in Origins, but nevertheless it's still Samantha's room. Now we can see it's the exact same shape. We see Samantha is continuing to play with her toys with her friend Eddie, and she's then later on told to close the window by her father and come down to the basement as a siren goes off in the background. Now this same window is broken in the Kino de Toten evil version of her room. This window is smashed in. And we know later on after this cutscene, finishes, Maxis surrenders his daughter Samantha to him. Maxis gives Samantha to a dark, mysterious character that comes knocking at her door. He takes Samantha away and a few months later returns her. Now, we don't know exactly why he took Samantha, whether this was to protect her, but when he returns her back to Maxis, Samantha is crying out for his name, and this could either be because Samantha wants him back, she wants to go back to him, or because he did something to her while she was gone. Now, who exactly took her, we don't know, but in the Der Eisendrache posters that Samantha draws in her quarters that she was staying at Der Eisendrache, we see a keeper enter Samantha's room through a rift. Could this be the character that took her? We don't know, but could this also have a relevance and a connection to the evil version of her room that we see in Kino der Toten? For whatever reason, Maxis told his daughter Samantha to close the windows. Could the reason why Maxis told Samantha to close the windows be because something was going to enter? And in Kino, we can see whatever was outside, whatever was waiting for Samantha, entered her room because the window is smashed in. I don't think Treyarch would have been looking that far forward, but if they look back to Easter eggs they have now, they can make connections and improve on the story that we had back in Kino. A lot of you guys wanted me to take a look at this, and I think it will be something that Treyarch may actually be explaining as we move on to DLC 4. I think the main focus is, though, is the fact that we have these characters that Samantha has been playing with ever since we saw them in Kino der Toten. It's just something that everyone seemed to have forgotten. It's not something that we first saw in the Origins cutscene. It wasn't this big surprise. We know it's not a game that we are playing in Samantha's head, but Samantha is in fact playing with these characters in her life, and that is actually happening in our game. But there we go, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. It's taken me a long time to gather all of this information, put it together for you guys, so if you could just take a second out of your time and drop me a like rating, that'd mean an awful lot to me. If we could go for the goal of 3,000 like ratings, I know it's a big one, but I believe in you guys, and that'd mean an awful lot to me. Make sure you subscribe for more zombies videos, and I will see you in the next video. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Thank you, and goodbye.